Hello, lovely TOEIC students, you wonderful people. Thank you for joining me today, where we are going to look at two extremely difficult TOEIC questions, but show you how you can get the answer quickly and easily. All right, let's get started. Here is question one. Now, pause your screen if you need time. Okay, so here we need to think about context. Let's make sure we understand the whole question. First, let's look at one expression. Bring an event to a close. This means to end an event, finish the event. For example, we will bring the convention to a close at 6 p.m. We will end the convention. Or, the concert was brought to a close with the band playing their most popular song. The concert ended with the most popular song. Finally, further questions means more questions. Okay, so further is a more sort of academic, fancy way to say more. All right, so we've got that. Now, it says we will bring this meeting to a close. So we will stop this meeting. However, then it says there are any further questions or comments. So if there are more further questions or comments, they will probably continue the meeting. Well, this is actually an easy answer then. The best answer here is unless. And unless is saying this is the one thing that can stop the action. For example, I will fail the test. What can stop this? Studying. So I will fail the test unless I study. This means if I study, I will pass the test. I will fail the test unless I study. So studying will stop me from failing. Or my friend won't eat vegetables unless it is broccoli. So what will stop my friend from not eating vegetables? Broccoli. My friend won't eat vegetables unless it's broccoli. Broccoli is the one thing that will stop my friend from not eating vegetables. We will bring the meeting to a close unless there are any further questions. Further questions will stop bringing the meeting to a close. That's why the answer is A. Unless you knew how to use unless, you wouldn't get this answer. Okay, so we've got the first question. Now let's look at the next one. This one is actually extremely difficult, so there's going to be some grammar here. All right, first let's understand what a fob is, because it says all employees will need to have a fob to enter the building. A fob is an electronic key. For example, in my apartment building, to enter the building, I don't use a key, I use a fob, which is an electronic key. All right, now let's start eliminating answers. First, let's eliminate B immediately. In this situation, you could say, as I said immediately, which would mean like I said immediately. That could work, but we don't have that. However, as adverb is always incorrect. If you use as adverb, you must have an as after it. For example, if I say as aggressively you should play, I need to say you should play as aggressively as possible, as aggressively as you can, as aggressively as the opponent. Notice if you use add adverb, you need an as after it. This sentence does not do this, so that is definitely wrong. So we can eliminate B. Now let's eliminate A. Start is a base verb here. A base verb cannot begin a sentence. Here is an example. Feel better. I will go to work. Well, this is strange. You've started the sentence with a base verb in feel. This would be wrong. However, you could use a reduced adjective clause with ing or ed. Let's look at an example of a reduced adjective clause. Wanapa, who is feeling better, will go to work. Okay. In a reduced adjective clause, I can take out the subject and be verb. So I can say, Wanapa, feeling better, will go to work. Now, I can also put a reduced adjective clause at the start of a sentence. This is kind of strange, but it is very common in academic writing. So I could say, feeling better, Wanapa will go to work. Now, if we looked at this, we could say all employees will need to have a fob to enter the building, which is starting immediately. Now, I could take out starting immediately. I could take out which is. So I could say all employees will need to have a fob to enter the building starting immediately. This is now a reduced adjective clause. So I could say starting immediately, all employees will need to have a fob to enter the building, but not start immediately, because that is just a base verb. So we know the answer then is not A. Now we have C or D. Which should we eliminate next? Well, the answer is D. To implement means to put a plan, system, law, etc. into effect. For example, the company implemented a new safety policy in the factory. A new safety policy was implemented in the factory. That's passive. So the person or the group with authority implements the new approach. The approach, policy, law is implemented. Let's look at another example. The country will implement new restaurant restrictions because of COVID. So, new restaurant restrictions will be implemented because of COVID. And just so you know, the noun for implement is implementation. Okay, so let's look at this TOEIC question. If we used a reduced adjective clause, we would say all employees will need to have a fob to enter the building implemented immediately, because it's saying which will be implemented. So I'm using ED here, ED, not ING. So if I put it at the start, it would have to say implemented immediately, all employees will need to have a fob to enter the building, not implementing, because a person implements a policy is implemented. So the answer is C, effective immediately. And effective immediately just means starting immediately. It is a common phrase in business. For example, effective April 1st, so starting April 1st, smoking will not be allowed on the work premises. Or effective January 1st, 2025, plastic bags will be banned in the city. As we see here, we could say effective immediately, so starting immediately, all employees will need to have a fob to enter the building. So that's why the answer is C. We could eliminate the other terms, or we could just understand that effective means starting. All right, everyone, I hope you learned something. Please like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate your support, and have a wonderful day. Bye.